the beautiful thing about reading and studying about history is that things are not new to you as you see them manifest in life. It has happened to somebody else in the past. It has happened to some group of people in the past. And um, apart from expanding your horizon, you also see a good sample of everyday use cases in light of something that has happened before, right? And you can take the juice of it and make sense out of it because you have a lot of reference points. Okay? So when I say that the church in Nigeria, the big church in Nigeria, uh, which is all the big denominations that make up the top 10 churches in the country, when I say they are a big chunk of Nigerians' problems, I am saying this from that perspective. So if you don't read, you, you probably can't critique me too much if you haven't read anything but um, what has been showed you in school, what you do at work, and what you need to get by day, then you would not understand what I'm saying. Okay, let's talk about it, right? When you go to church and you have worship sessions, right? You join a group to worship God, but then there's messaging and uh, things that people say from the pulpit, even from the folks who are leading the worship services, that isolate your communication channel to directly connect you on God, right? So it's a personal journey, right? You raise your voice to the Lord. You're not supposed to bother about anybody else. And even though it's a group activity, you're encouraged to cry out to the Lord and praise and everything and just direct it to Him because um, God is looking at you and not anybody else, right? And then when you go into the sermons, a lot of sermons that are delivered, especially in Nigerian churches, and a lot of it has to do with the context in Nigeria, right? Nigerian churches are preaching a message that is directed to the individual, and a good part of it is because the group and the the authority that's supposed to fend for the group has failed, right? And so the church is marketing um, uh, financial well-being and just your well-being in general as a result of your personal relationship with God, your personal relationship with God, not your relationship with other people in context of how much you give yourself to the community and to the community good and what good can come out of that and trickle down to people. But it's selling your grace, your fortunes as something that is directly linked to your relationship with God. And it's you. And when the blessings get to you, it's for you and your family, right? And when the pastor says there's somebody here, right? He's calling you out. He has signaled you out from the group. He signaled you out from a bunch of Nigerians. He signaled you out from a bunch of wherever you are. And he's saying there's somebody here that God has come here to bless, which means that your story is now divorced from everybody else's story, right? And that's why a lot of Nigerians believe in grace and supernatural favor. And when they pray, they're able to logically isolate their brains so that they're ready to receive blessings that skips everybody else and just comes straight to them. So there's a lot of psychological things that's going on in the background. Nobody really has time to settle down and think about it. But it's one of the reasons why we do have a bunch of Nigerians who venture out to be successful individually, and the success has never actually trickled down to a group. Like, you see a lot of Nigerians who are successful individually by themselves. Like, you see them doing great things, but you put 3 and 4 and 5, 7, 10, 20, 30 group of Nigerians together and they're not doing anything, right? It's a mentality. It's a it's a it's a psychic. It's a state of mind. And that is why there's a lot of countries who are going to um, develop before Nigeria that right now are in horrible states, more horrible than Nigeria. There's some countries right now that are fighting wars and have been fighting wars for like 20, 30 years, that in the next 20 years, these countries are going to be more developed than Nigeria, just because the people actually see their destinies as intertwined together, and they just know that when God wants to truly bless you as an individual, he sends the blessing through the group that you are associated with. That's the more long lasting blessing, right? You know, there's a lot of things to unpack, but it's just the moral of the story is Nigerians have succeeded in isolating their own destinies, their own futures from the rest of the group, right? And so, when somebody goes to testify in church, they never really testify about, oh, what God did for this group of people. They always say it's me and me and me. And when you see a Nigerian praying fervently on the corner and crying and bawling out tears and raising their hands up in the sky, and then you listen in on that conversation with God, you'd see that a lot of it is just tied to how God can bless them and get them out of a perilous situation that they are. And I'm not looking down or shooting down on that whole, praying to God for all those things. I'm just trying to tell you that a lot of all our problems in Nigeria is we don't have any obligations, we don't have any identity, we don't have any anything that we owe the country itself or the people or wherever group of people you're from. And that is why um, every time you pressure a group of Nigerians, every time you make them suffer or something, they don't band together and fight back. But what you're gonna see a lot of resilience. That's number one. Number two is you're gonna see a handful of people who would wring their way out of that situation and prevail over that situation. Either they find a way through that hardship or make it, or they find their way out of that area to another place. But the pressure and the the thing that you're putting on that, the strain you're putting on that society, you can do as you please. Because the folks who leave that community or find a way to get out of that strain that you've put there, they never really use that newfound power or the fact that they've escaped from that place to help the others to fight the oppressor or fight back or anything. Because when they escape, the first thing they do is they go to their God and thank God for saving them from that predicament. And then they continue their life story because their life journey to them, their life is all about them and their lineage. And so it's like they go and they're just going further and going out to become the greatest person that ever lived. And this is the story of Nigerians. And this is the reason why every time you open the news, you see there's a Nigerian that's doing great in business and science and technology and all those things. And then you open another page of the news and you see that you're hearing the lowest life expectancy is Nigerian. Um, uh, the Nigeria has 130 some poor people, 130 something million poor people, and yeah, and sometimes you can't reconcile. It's like, why are there so many intelligent Nigerians, but the country is doing so badly? And this is just one of those things. And the church perpetuates this. The church is actually the church because of how big and how influential it is, and the type of messages they preach. They are one of the problems, if not the major problems, in preaching this type of message, isolating people from the group and letting them think that, okay, whatever you're going through, God is going to do it. He's going to pick you out of it and save you from that mess. And you don't have any responsibility. He doesn't have any responsibility to save everybody else. He's just going to pick you up because you are his child, and everybody else, I don't know what they are.